Hi guys, today's video is 10 things I love about living in the USA as a German, and it's Feli from Germany.
Yep, I mean, we've done it a few times, haven't we?
Yeah.
You guys enjoy the reactions. I feel like with these reactions, they're good because they're different.
Yeah.
I will admit, and I think people say it in the comments as well, and it's nothing on her as well, I think maybe she's just trying to be original, potentially. It's a little bit nitpicky. Some of these things are things which aren't an issue.
Being a bit over picky, but
On
I
our
guess that's
stuff.
just to not be repetitive.
Yeah, which is a little bit refreshing. It's not the same things we always hear. So it's one of them, I like it, but I understand when people say it's a little bit nitpicky.
Yeah.
So it's not an issue one bit. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this content. But today will be a little bit different because today is, like you say, 10 things she loves about living in the USA. So we're going to tell you whether we would love that, whether we think, oh, that's amazing, or maybe we could do without that. You never know.
We never know. We don't know.
Smash that button if you enjoy, guys. Smash the subscribe button. We love positive videos like this. And are you ready to get into it?
I am.
Let's go.
Why did I move to America? Well, there are just a lot of things that I love about living here, so today I'll tell you about my 10 favorite things about living in the US.
That's not us bluing, by the way.
Hallo, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia and I'm a German living in the US. As many of you already know, I was born and raised in Munich, and I first came to the US in 2016 for an exchange semester during my undergrad. I then came back for an internship, then I came back for my master's again, and then I was lucky enough to win the green card lottery, which is why I'm now here as a permanent resident. And of course, people ask me a lot, why did I do this? Why did I move here? Why leave Germany? And the answer to that is that I didn't leave Germany because I didn't like it there anymore, or because Germany isn't a good country to live in, because Germany is a pretty amazing country to live in. But the reason is that every time I was here, I just really enjoyed it here. Those of you who have lived abroad before probably know how exciting it can be and how amazing it can feel to like challenge yourself, get out of your comfort zone by living in a completely different country where everything is new. So the excitement is definitely one reason why I came here, but the other reason is that I just love a lot about the US and about American culture. And what those things are exactly, that's what I'll tell you now. So here are 10 things I love about living in the US. The first point on my list is that I love how open and friendly Americans are.
You legends in the
Not
comments.
every single one, of course. So just a general disclaimer, whenever I make like a generalizing statement about Americans, this obviously doesn't apply to every individual out there, but it's just my personal experience with the majority of Americans in comparison to Germans. So overall, Americans are a lot more open and friendly than Germans, and that's just something that makes being away from home a lot easier, and it makes living here really enjoyable. This includes that approaching people and talking to each other is very easy and comfortable here. In Germany, the threshold to do those things is a little bit higher, but here you can pretty much just walk up to someone and start talking to them, like if you have a question, for example. This especially works at certain social settings, of course, like at a gathering or when you're at work or school, but people even approach each other just at the store or on the street sometimes. And most Americans are really friendly too. They're polite to each other.
Like just people being friendly in public, in general life.
Just in public, yeah. I feel like in England, up north, it's probably a little bit more like that, but down south, it's kind of a bit like, oh, why are you talking to me?
Think like a place like London, and you think everyone's just go, private, keep going, got jobs to do, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You don't have that. Whereas like I feel like
a bit more
like Rotherham, like
it's a bit more acceptable.
People will be like,
chat.
"Oh, you're right,"
Yeah.
or like if you're walking down. I don't know, like walking down like to your dad's estate. If you see
say
someone,
alright to someone,
yeah,
100%.
They
and in the comments, it's kind of it's a generalisation, but all you legends in the comments have been so nice, so welcoming on our live streams. Yes, there is the individuals who have individuals who
some of you aren't.
Yeah, well, it's weird.
Not some.
It's quite funny. And there is a couple, which I know it's a lot because we see 99% of comments. We just obviously can't reply to all of them.
There's a couple
just watch the videos to complain about the same thing straight away.
You wouldn't think it, because you'd be like, what's the point of watching us if you don't? If you just got to comment something negative, and we don't really care that much. Like we don't. But it is the same. We know the names.
It just makes us laugh because they do post
like,
it.
Why watch it?
That's the point. There is obviously minorities. There's minorities all over the world, which won't be negative on something.
Yeah, not everybody's.
Majority you legends. And we can take criticism, by the way, no issue, one bit of it. And the majority of legends, if you give us some, will give it nicely or constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just makes me happy. It's not everybody, but 99% of your legends are absolutely awesome.
We have a friendly tone. They're interested in what you have to say. They share personal stories with you. They give you compliments. And if people are in a bad mood, they don't usually take it out on everyone around them, which in Germany I sometimes feel like you can just tell that someone is in a bad mood. And obviously that doesn't brighten your own mood either. The second point on my list is that it's easy to make friends in the US.
Ties in with the
Since most Americans are so open and friendly, I found it really easy to make friends here in the US, which obviously made my experience here so much better in the beginning. Because when you come to a new country and don't know anybody, having friends changes a lot actually, and it's pretty much the first step to feeling at home in the new country. And people were also really hospitable in the beginning. They offered to show me around when they heard that I had just arrived, or they drove me to places because they knew that I didn't have a car, or they invited me to hang out with them and their friends, or to come along on trips. So that was really amazing for me. But even after 3 years, I just love how there isn't a really big threshold to becoming someone's friend, and how it's also really easy to connect different friend groups with each other. Like in Germany and some other European cultures, people kind of prefer to stay within their established friend circle, and if you have several of those circles, you usually hang out with one or the other. But here, connecting friend groups and also inviting people to join if you've already made plans with your friends is really common and simple. These things can be a lot more complicated in Germany, which is also why for people who are new to Germany, it can be really tricky to make friends in the beginning. But the good news is that once you've made friends in Germany, it usually means that you can really rely on them and that they're going to be in your life for a while. Whereas here, I'd say that, and of course this varies a lot, but overall, I'd say that not only the threshold of making friends is pretty low, but also of losing them or losing sight of each other. But the point still stands, I love how easy it is to make friends here. Awesome. Americans are a lot more spontaneous than Germans, and I love it. Germans love planning, so most Germans plan things like hanging out with friends at least a few days or even weeks in advance. Here, I really enjoy that people are much more spontaneous, and sometimes it can even happen that you didn't know what you were going to do tonight, but then suddenly you end up having like a game night with 8 friends or something, and that just happened like the hour before. Just an example, of course, but I hope you guys know what I mean. In Germany, the majority of those 8 people probably would have already had plans, or if they didn't, they may not have been up for a spontaneous thing like that. The downside to this is, of course, that people also bail spontaneously sometimes, and if you like to plan ahead a lot, it can get tricky at times. Americans are very good at enjoying themselves and treating themselves without feeling the need to have an actual reason for it, and I personally find that to be a very healthy way of looking at life. Germans often have the need to justify those things towards others, like if they treat themselves with unhealthy food, or if they go to the bars and get drunk, or if they spend a lot of money on a new pair of shoes, or whatever it is, Germans often compare themselves with others and judge each other in certain ways. And so if you do something where you feel like other people may think something like, oh, why did he spend all that money on shoes when we all know that he doesn't have that much money and he should have just saved that for emergencies, Germans tend to explain themselves and justify their actions towards others when technically they don't owe anyone an explanation, in my opinion. In the US, people don't really...
At the end of the day, you do whatever you want, you know what I mean? As long as you're obviously not doing anything dangerous and bad, do whatever you want. And I love the aspect of, just don't, if it doesn't affect you, don't judge anyone else. You know what I mean?
Yes, not your business.
If someone else has spent their money and you think they can't afford it, why do you care? Unless you're genuinely concerned for their mental health or whatever, why do you actually care?
Another thing that would not make me care, but would make me question is if you've lent someone money.
If you lent money,
if they've said to you, "Oh, look, I just need like 30 quid. I just need for my food this week," and then you see them going out buying stuff, or you see them going out to the pub.
Yeah, that's the thing, because that does affect you technically, because they owe you money. Yeah. But if it was someone who didn't owe you any money, like you hadn't just lent them something like the other day or something like that, if they're just living their life, why do you actually care? Let them live their life.
In Britain, I don't know, a few things like I don't know, for example, like if you have a credit card and people spend, it's like you shouldn't be spending your credit card.
Yeah, it can be. I know what you mean. But if it doesn't affect you, if they know what they're doing, if they're happy, who cares? Do you know what I mean?
It's nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
Really do that as much, but I also don't see people being as judgy as in Germany, and Americans don't begrudge each other as much either. So I think that's probably the reason why people don't feel as compelled to justify their actions here. For me personally, this whole attitude of just treat yourself if you're in the mood for it definitely had a positive impact on how I live my life. These things are all somewhat related to each other, but the next thing that I love about living in the US is this optimistic and positive atmosphere here. Germans are oftentimes a lot more skeptical and critical, so I find that positive vibe here in the US really inspiring. You can observe this in all kinds of different contexts and parts of life, like how people just compliment each other a lot. But to give one concrete example, you can see this a lot in the field of entrepreneurship, especially when it comes to new ideas and thinking out of the box. So broadly speaking, when the average German would ask why, the average American asks why not? So while Germans often focus on finding potential problems and reasons why something could possibly fail, Americans focus more on the potential and have more of a can-do attitude and don't give
up. It's that, isn't it? Glass half full, or is it half empty? Do you know what I mean?
I'm definitely more of a half-empty person.
Yeah, I am a very half-full person, and I'm trying my best to get there, and you are getting there. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a half-empty. Not all the time, but sometimes.
No, not all the time. Sometimes I am.
Yeah, just a bit anxiety and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say like not against people. I'm not negative about
other people.
Just
more anxiety and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely.
But easily, even if they fail a few times at
not
first.
helping.
And this attitude is something that Americans don't only have about their own life, but towards others too. Celebrating other people's success, encouraging others, and also supporting them to use their talents in the best possible way is a part of American culture that I would love for Germans to adopt a little. This kind of ties in with what I said about judging each other earlier, but Germans unfortunately often begrudge each other's successes, and instead of being happy for other people, we oftentimes feel envy and somehow feel like another person's success may make us less successful or valued. Again, this doesn't apply to every single German, of course, but it's definitely something that you can see in German society. And who knows, maybe this optimistic and positive spirit here in the US still goes back to the pioneers who came to this new country with a lot of big dreams. Very closely related to that is that I also love how enthusiastic Americans can be. Whether it's about their favorite sports team or a band or just the school they're attending, Americans are usually not afraid to share their enthusiasm with the public, and they're also not ashamed to stand up for what they like and to show their excitement to everyone else. As I've mentioned in my video on sports cultures, Germans can be like that when it comes to soccer, but besides that, we're usually a lot more reserved and modest about those kind of things. Unfortunately, this also sometimes applies to our own accomplishments and things that we should be really proud of. Sometimes people are very modest and humble about those things too, and feel like they can't really celebrate openly because it would make them look like they're bragging and make them unlikable, which I think is really sad. So I think being positive and celebrating each other and supporting each other is awesome in the US. The next point on my list is that I love how
I can understand the whole trying to be not celebrated too much. I completely get that, especially in the UK as well. But I love the idea of if everybody supported everyone and everyone had that togetherness and it then you wouldn't feel bad about celebrating it. But then you also know people begrudge you, stuff like that. So it's kind of just let's not.
Sometimes you might not want to share things because you think people are going to think, oh,
banging on about it again. You know what I mean?
You're just being like, what's the word?
I know what you mean.
Showing off.
Yeah, trying to show off and stuff
like that. And it's like, well, why not just be happy for them?
Yeah, exactly. So
now it goes back to doesn't affect you. Why? Just be happy.
Just be happy for if you know them, be happy for them. Definitely.
How individualism is valued in the US, and how I feel like that the need to fit in and to float with the current isn't as big as in Germany. This is based on my personal experience, and it is compared to Germany, and this may vary a lot in different places between rural and urban areas, but overall I feel like you're really encouraged here to be who you want to be and do what you want as long as you don't break the law or harm anyone. I've talked about this with my German friend in this video a little, but Germans tend to look at each other a lot in public. Some people would say that we stare, while in the US I feel like it really doesn't matter what you look like. Whether
Yeah,
you're
in the
wearing
UK,
gym
that's
clothes
fair.
out to the bar, or have a lot of tattoos and piercings, or are bigger than other people, I feel like Americans don't give you weird looks usually. And to be
Awesome.
honest, I don't hear Americans talk about others a lot either, which I think is awesome. The motto is kind of like, mind your own business, but in a good way. Okay, this is old news, but another thing that I love about living here is that the
massive.
United States are huge and there's just so much space here. In Europe, everything is much more dense and just smaller than in the US. This starts with the country itself, but it also applies to how streets are much wider, stores are bigger and have bigger selections, houses are bigger and you don't have to be rich to have your own yard and driveway, and even things like fitting rooms in a store are bigger. So except for a few
makes
dense
sense.
cities in the US, everything is just more spread out here, and that definitely gives me a feeling of freedom. On to the next point, I also love how
Oh, yeah.
within one and
We've
the same
literally
country...
like,
Wait.
yeah,
That was 9 already.
yeah.
9 just been.
No, it was 8. 8 was space. 8, yeah.
I'm sure I said 9.
Nah, I definitely said 8.
Oh.
Are you
That's throwing me
are you
off.
wishing the video away, are you?
No, but I'm sure I said 9.
No, I definitely said 8. But this, literally, what I was just going to quickly say on this was yesterday, which were about 10 minutes ago for us, we literally reacted to the different formations in America.
Yeah.
And that just shows a different scenic diversity. We've done so many videos. It's mad. It's a massive place. Cultures are different. Scenery is different. You travel 100 miles, which again is a mad distance, but for you guys, it's not as far. And you're just in it's like you're in a different country.
Yeah.
You're not, but it's like that.
Definitely.
So this is mad, and it's awesome. And we need to explore the US one day. Well, 1 year. Takes a long time.
There's just so much scenic diversity. I mean, Germany has a very diverse landscape too, and so do a lot of other countries, but I love that in the US you have 2 different coasts, you have really warm and really cold climates, you have swamps and beaches and the big lakes and mountains and vast openness and the canyons when you go out west. And still, when you travel all of this, you're in the same country the whole time with the same language and the same currency and all the things you're used to. Okay, so for the last point, this topic has come up quite a lot in my recent videos about how the US is all about convenience.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would lie
This
if
is
I said
massive
I
in the
didn't
US.
enjoy that. You can pretty much get anything you want here 24/7. Okay, right now you can't with this whole pandemic going on, but before this happened, you could, and hopefully after. A lot of the stores here like Target or Walmart have pretty much everything you need in just one place.
Okay.
So everything
Which is
from
awesome.
groceries to furniture, clothing, medicine, hardware, but also in just regular grocery stores, you can usually get way more than just food. And as I've mentioned before, stores have huge selections, so like a full aisle just for cereal is pretty normal, or like 20 different brands of pasta sauce and those kind of
Yeah,
things.
see, we have
And
like
in addition
2.
to that, there are drive-thrus for almost everything, so you can just conveniently
also
get
awesome.
Yeah.
food from your car, or coffee, or medicine, or cash, or even liquor. And of course, the US has amazing customer service, which is something that I
Do you
absolutely...
want the video we did? I think it was of her when she mentioned the drive-through ATMs.
Yeah.
I saw a comment, I think it was literally yesterday. I was like, so what is actually, can't you just drive up to an ATM in the UK and nothing's stopping you, surely, so you could just do that? I don't know if it was a joke or not, because like, if it isn't, I'll explain, our ATMs are normally like nowhere near the road. Nowhere
They're
near the road.
inside the shop, on the wall of the shop, but it's a pavement.
But you got a big payment in the way and stuff like that.
Yeah, or you have to park in a car park and walk over
And
to
walk
it.
there, and like it's not next to the
It's
road.
not
It's
like
in a different
it's not
bit.
like roadside.
Yeah, not roadside a bit. And it just made me laugh because I was like, I don't know if they're joking. If they might be serious and we just need to clear, not need to get it up, but it's nice to clear up, isn't it?
Yeah, there's none roadside.
Yeah, non-roadside, so we couldn't just pull up.
absolutely enjoy about living here, and this also plays into the whole convenience thing. Most salespeople at stores are extremely friendly and help you wherever they can. Waiters are usually really happy to accommodate your special requests, and even at the grocery store, you don't even have to bag your own things in most cases. And for those of you who think that customer service is bad here in the US,
Oh, it's better than everywhere
believe
else.
me, you do not want to come to Germany then.
Or the UK.
So that was the end of
Oh, it's good.
That was good. The different points. Again,
Different point. Again, like I say, it's different points. This weren't nitpicky, this were just her experiences, which was awesome.
a little bit
as well.
overlappy, but it's still good.
They were
points.
overlappy, but very good points. And again, a bit of positivity is what we need at times, and it is absolutely awesome. So I hope you guys feel good, because a bit of love
Yep.
on you guys as well. Enjoy that.
Yeah, it was good.
Smash that button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. Watch the video.
Have a fantastic day.
And we'll see you, legends, in the next one. Peace.